Well, embattled Wells Fargo CEO John Stumpf is out. The banking giant announcing news this week as more of the bank's practices come under scrutiny following the scandal that employees opened up unauthorized bank accounts in a scheme to generate fees and meet sales quotas.
Senator Elizabeth Warren, who grilled Stumpf on the Hill last month, isn't done with him yet, though she tweeted, "A bank CEO should not be able to oversee a massive fraud and simply walk away to enjoy his millions in retirement." Our Fox Business All-Stars, Charlie Gasparino, and the co-host of the great show Outnumbered, Sandra Smith, joining us now.
He's putting in great. He's trying to get back on the show. You get that, Sandra?
Anthony, don't worry.
Every time I'm on the show, I have to be on with Charlie. Is that...
Yeah.
Do you work that out ahead of time?
Every time I'm on Outnumbered, I got to be on with you.
Charlie, it makes the picture look that much better.
What do you think, Sandra, of this?
Listen,
was it surprising to you that he left?
Is it surprising? No. When the second Warren Buffett said he wasn't going to support him or back...
He actually didn't say that. But...
Well, Warren Buffett said he wasn't going to talk about it until after the election.
But you knew, but it
there were a lot of indications that led to the belief that he was not going to be...
Well, I will say one thing. You know, and Charlie, you know I've been somewhat critical of Buffett over the years on a number of things. I think the way he actually handled this was very un-Buffett-like. Because the fact that he did not come out and publicly support him, I think definitely had some impact on the board.
What we reported on Fox Business was that he, behind the scenes, he basically read Stumpf the Riot Act, let the people know. And Stumpf is on the board and said, let him know, not happy. Stumpf had to report that to the board. And once that happened, you knew his days were numbered. I will say this. At first, I didn't think it was going to kill him. And we had this disagreement on this show.
We talked about it on the show, and I said he was not going to survive.
Here's why I said
I hope he survives a nice
And here's why I said he was going to survive. When you look at it materially, it's a $2 million screw-up here. But it was obvious he didn't do well during the hearings. And, you know, when it really comes down to it, banks are being run by Elizabeth Warren right now.
Right.
You know that.
Which is what we talked about that day.
Which is the scariest thing in the world. And, you know, I reported the day before when I saw the management change. I said, he's done. It's just a matter of time. I thought by the end of the year. They actually whacked him out sooner, which is...
What do you mean the banks are being run by Elizabeth Warren? She wants to run the banks.
No, she runs the banks.
She's petitioning to run the banks.
She just fired a CEO of a major company for no reason but a $2 million scandal.
Here's where we need to let the banks do their thing and show Main Street, who is outraged over seeing this, or I don't know if they really are, but apparently we're supposed to believe that Main Street's outraged. Look at the stock price of Wells Fargo, though. We got their earnings this week. The stock price is down 10% from the overall banking index. Is that the type of hit that you would have seen coming for Wells Fargo, or would you have thought it would have been much bigger in the wake of a scandal like this?
Real clear.
So let's let the stock price tell us how bad this is for the bank.
Let's be real clear what's going on here. You have a degree, what caused this scandal? Okay, you have a degree of regulatory arbitrage, right? You couldn't do proprietary trading, couldn't do all this stuff because of Dodd-Frank on one side. So what did the banks do? They had to focus on the retail side and ramp up, you know, cross-selling. Now that's gone. I think you got to take, if you're playing the stock market on this, bank earnings, as bad as they are, and by the way, Wells Fargo hasn't had, none of these banks have done well the last 5 or 6 years. Take down all your earning estimates on these banks because they just got squeezed on a very profitable line of business, which is legal, cross-selling.
Right.
But we got word this morning, Gary, that the banks are doing the right thing without government stepping in and government overreach and creating new laws that are going to stifle the ability of banks. Okay, Marianne Lake, J.P. Morgan CFO, she came out this morning and said, we've found some cross-selling issues, but nothing systemic.
Why?
We're conducting a deep dive. That's the appropriate thing for these banks to do.
I believe my comment to you when we were here the day, my comment to you the day this broke, because we were doing the show, is I said to you, Charlie, cross-selling, that's the nature of the business. Okay. You and I both know, because we've talked about this.
Let's be real clear. When you talk about
every one of these institutions.
You talk about Marianne Lake here. Remember whose foot is on her neck.
Every one of these institutions. If Elizabeth wanted to, it's
a bigger issue.
If Elizabeth Warren wanted to,
the biggest issue on the table right now is if Elizabeth Warren gets a senior position in the next presidential administration, is she going on a full-scale witch hunt? If she does, that'll be a 0.5% of reduction in GDP
She
growth.
Doesn't need a senior position in the administration.
I was in Washington yesterday interviewing 2 former SEC commissioners, both of which think that she's ridiculous in terms of her overreach.
Because of your favorite candidate.
Bipartisan.
Because of your favorite candidate and her favorite candidate, Donald Trump.
Whoa. I don't know what's in this race. Thank you.
Republicans are going to lose the Senate, and Elizabeth Warren is going to be chairwoman of the banking committee. That is going to be
a bet on national TV the Republicans don't lose the Senate, okay? I'll take you to the Hunt and Fish Club.
All right.
Okay?
Let's just keep the...
better pray to keep the House.
Let's
I'm bringing some Xanax and Zoloft.
Charlie, we'll get to the election after this block. Let's keep this block on the banks.
Right.
If Elizabeth Warren wanted to target every single institution,
right.
Every single institution cross-sells. Every institution cross-sells.
Yeah.
The fact that Wells Fargo was the one that was the poster child right now, every single institution, if they wanted to, could be investigated and called out.
What is she saying she's going to do? What is it? She's got all the answers. What are her answers?
No, but the cross-selling of the fact that you're basically saying...
We got paid to cross-sell it. Lehman Brothers.
We talked about that.
It's over.
By the way, one
bank stocks.
Remember,
especially
the new CEO...
You guys screws up the Senate.
Charlie, the new CEO, Sloan of Wells Fargo, on the call earlier this morning said, quote, matters will get worse before they get better. So they're telling their investors, this isn't over now.
Right.
Now, when you're a new CEO, you always want to set the bar low. You want to...
I think she's got it right in
the
the
most
green room
critical
before.
thing.
Yeah.
Set the expectations.
Absolutely.
The most critical thing the Obama administration will be known for is that they've changed the rules in these corporations. Okay, they're scaring the people. They've broken legal precedents,
particularly banks,
and now they're roughing them up and bullying.
Be good if your candidate could talk about that as opposed to some other things. We'll talk about that after the break.
Charlie and Sandra, don't go anywhere. More Wall Street Week right after this.
Did you hear that?
We got it on tape.